Have you ever looked up at the vast night sky and wondered, is this all there is? This is a question that has plagued philosophers and scientists for centuries, but what if the answer isn't what, but where? What if our universe, with its dazzling galaxies and quirky life forms, is actually a simulation? I know, it sounds like something straight out of the Matrix, but before you dismiss it as science fiction, consider this. Some very smart people believe it could be true. The simulation hypothesis proposes that what we perceive as reality is actually a highly advanced computer program, created by beings more technologically advanced than we can even imagine. Why would they do this? Maybe they're bored, maybe it's a science experiment, or maybe, just maybe, our reality TV is just that entertaining, but how could we possibly prove something like that? Well, that's where things get really interesting. Let's talk physics, shall we? One of the cornerstones of our understanding of the universe is the second law of thermodynamics. It basically says that things tend to get messier over time. Think about your sock drawer. But what if I told you that information, the building blocks of everything around us, doesn't quite follow this rule? Enter physicist Melvin Vopson and his mind-bending second law of infodynamics. Vopson suggests that information actually counteracts the tendency towards disorder, maintaining a kind of cosmic balance. Think of it like this. The universe is constantly trying to delete your files, but information is the backup system. So what does this have to do with simulations? Imagine trying to build a realistic simulation of, well, everything. You'd need a way to compress all that data, right? Vopson believes that the patterns of minimized information entropy we observe in the universe could be evidence of this very compression, a sort of cosmic zip file. Let's bring it down to Earth for a moment, shall we? Darwin's theory of evolution tells us that life evolves through random mutations and natural selection, but what if those mutations aren't so random after all? Vopson suggests that mutations might actually be the simulation's way of optimizing its code, making life more efficient or at least more interesting to watch. Think about it. If you were designing a simulation, wouldn't you want to see how life adapts and evolves? It would be like playing a video game on God mode. You could even throw in a few curveballs, like, say, a global pandemic, just to see what happens. Of course, this is all just speculation, but it's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? So, you're telling me we're in a video game, not so fast. While the simulation hypothesis is a fun thought experiment, it's important to remember that it's just that, a hypothesis. There's no concrete evidence to prove that we're living in a simulation yet. But there's also no evidence to disprove it. Think of it like trying to find the edge of the universe. We can keep exploring, keep pushing the boundaries of our knowledge. But there's always the possibility that there's something beyond what we can see, or maybe we'll hit a wall and realize that, yep, we're living in a giant computer program. Either way, it's a pretty wild ride, right? The jury's still out, but the coffee's definitely real. So where do we go from here? The scientific community is divided on the simulation hypothesis. Some researchers are actively searching for evidence to support it, while others dismiss it as nothing more than a philosophical curiosity. And then there are those of us who are just trying to make sense of it all, one cup of coffee at a time. The truth is, we may never know for sure if we're living in a simulation. But that doesn't mean we should stop asking questions, exploring the unknown and pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible. After all, isn't that what makes life, simulated or not, so interesting? Keep the cosmic conversation going. What do you think? Are we just lines of code in a giant cosmic computer game? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-bending explorations of the universe.